Saturday's game kind of felt like maybe it was a look in the mirror moment for everybody involved, and I just kind of your thoughts now, a few days removed from that game.
Still the same thing. I still feel like this team's not played to its full potential yet. There's still some things that we need to work on. Offensively, defensively, correct mistakes that we need to get corrected that we've been trying to correct the last 3 or 4 weeks that haven't got corrected. And you go back and watch that game. It's just we gave up too many big plays defensively, and we never really made them have to drive the field and score. It was just big play after big play that we gave up, and I feel like we kind of deflated after the so-called interception in the end zone. When they went up to go 14-0. After that, I think I feel like our team a little bit deflated, but I feel like we didn't quit in the second half. I still feel like we came out and we battled and we fought and did some good things offensively, and settled down a little bit defensively as well. And I thought we played better in the second half. But there's you still always got to reflect, no matter if it's a great game or a game where you kind of got it taking it to you a little bit. There's always time for reflection and ways to get better, on the football field, and looking at yourself as a person and figuring out what you can do to help this team out and help this team win.
I guess you kind of alluded to it a little bit in your answer, but are the things that you see wrong with the team, are they fixable things, or is it things that are just simply out of your and everybody else's control?
I think they're fixable. I think to me, defensively, especially in that game, one was for sure just a missed tackle. We had two guys there that were in place to get them to 3rd and long, and we just completely missed a tackle right after the half. The one before that was just, bad eyes, not seeing what 3 was doing and seeing what the number 2 receiver was doing, and guys not doing their assignments. And those are things that are very fixable, easy to get accomplished, through the week. But it's the things we practice, every day in practice. The things that we showed them, in practice is the same things that we got on Saturday. It might have been just a little bit of a deeper route, but safety can't bite on that and leave the down bandit all by himself on that vertical. So, and we got to get our hands on. I think that right now the main thing on defense is we're not putting any hands on receivers, and so they're able just to run their routes freely with no resistance whatsoever. And and those are things that we do work on in practice. So we really got to hound that a little bit more this week in practice. But everything we're doing is fixable. And our kids just need, and as coaches, we can teach it and tell them what we want done, but as players, they got to fix it and get those problems taken care of.
Does the fact you've given up a lot of big plays, I think you gave up as many Saturdays you had up to that point in the season, is that surprising with as many returners you have on defense? And they did fairly good preventing that last year.
Yeah, and that's a good talk that we had yesterday, because we bring our kids in yesterday, we watch the film, and do impact plays, either positive or negative plays, like in that game. And that was something I was really disappointed in. I was like, dang guys, this is my position group. That we gave up 6 touchdowns by ourselves just in the secondary, and the other one was we're in man coverage, and Jack kind of lost track of the running back, and that happens. But in those situations, we can't give those things up, and it's things that we've practiced all week, and it's just got to be better communication. And I just feel like we have tunnel vision sometimes instead of being able to see the whole thing. And like I always tell them, right now you guys are seeing the tree, you got to see the whole forest. If you see the whole forest, good things will happen for you. And right now we're looking at trees and not seeing the things coming around us. So we got to get better at that, and that's something our kids will. I just think we played a little bit. They were just too energized a little bit, and sometimes when you do that, you don't have that controlled emotion. You got to be able to control those things, and you kind of get yourselves out of position and then make big plays, and that's exactly what happened to us.
Two-part question. First part, your thoughts about Caleb, his performance coming in last week, and part 2, you made a decision on quarterback for this week, and if not, what do you need to see in practice to help you make that decision?
It was kind of we talked about, last week in practice, or starting last Monday of, we were going to play both quarterbacks no matter what in that game at some point. And, Jack had a couple things in that throw where he threw 2 into the ground that should have been both completions. And it's like, all right, here's Huebner's chance. And when Huebner got in there, he did an excellent job of, handling the situation, handling the pressure, making the throws that needed to be made, that he needed to make, scrambled very well and bought time, and also scrambled to gain yardage as well. So, I mean, it's still going to be a competition this week, in practice. I mean, the decision's not made, but, right now I just think Heaver did a really good job last week, and right now moving forward, it's probably going to be Caleb, but unless Jack really changes things this week in practice and shows us that he's the guy.
What do you need to see in practice to finalize that decision? Because it sounds like you're leaning in one direction, but what would you need to see in practice this week to maybe rethink that?
Who's more comfortable in the pocket? Number one. Who's making the right throws? Who's making the reads? Who's more calm? Who's more collected? Who's able to scramble and keep looking downfield and make plays? Not that Caleb was perfect by any means in that game last week. There's still a couple of throws that he probably should have made that he didn't make. But again, it's his first game, so maybe hopefully he builds off of that. But it might be one of those things where we're going to this game where we're playing two quarterbacks again no matter what, and the hot hand's going to be the one that continues to play. So, but it's usually that. How's he command the offense? How's he seeing things? How's he reading things? Is he making the throws that are necessary? Are the guys, standing behind him and especially the guys in front, the O-line protecting him and taking care of him, doing those things, and how's he handle the situation? So it's kind of what you look in your quarterback. They got to be calm, cool, collected, and be able to make the throws and scramble when they need to scramble.
This was probably a bit of a loaded question, but do players have any input as to a situation like this? You mentioned the guys up front, the offensive linemen, or the receivers, or whoever. Is there any player input that's taken into consideration in this, or is it all coaching?
The thing is, you listen to your guys, right? But all of our players love both of them. They know they're both great leaders. They both know that they do great things for our team. So really, you ask our players, they don't really. They love them both, and they want them both to play, and they want them both to get on the field. And so it really kind of goes into the coach's hands of who we feel most comfortable with, in this situation and where we are kind of in the year right now and moving forward, with the future of our program as well. So, kids do have input. Kids do talk. We're even going to change things a little bit in the back end defensively, just trying to make sure I find the right guys that fit, in our back end and placements of putting maybe some guys in some different spots than they have been before. So you never know until you get guys on the field and see how they respond and how they react. And, I put a couple guys on the secondary last week that came in and responded really well and made some really good plays for us and did some nice stuff for us as well. So you see those things like, okay, now maybe we can start moving some things around, in the secondary to make our coverages a little bit better than what they were. So it's always, you always move things around, see how guys respond and react. And you really don't know how a kid's going to play until they step on the field. And, Caleb stepping on the field last week shows that, he's a very good player for us and he get things done.
Is really good. Similar, but maybe different than UCO. Is there any similarities or comparisons from what you saw last Saturday to what you'll see this Saturday?
The kid last week scrambled, well, but all his throws were so quick and, in and out of his hands as fast as it possibly could. Totally different story this week, right? Still a great quarterback. Really makes things happen, when he's on the run. He'll be in the pocket, and if it's not there right away, he's able to scramble, and those receivers do an excellent job of finding openings to get open, and he's able to see down the field. I don't know how he can see all those guys at once, but he's got great vision, and he sees things very well and knows exactly where his guys are going to be. So, ZZ's pretty good. He's a very talented young man, and he makes things happen. So we got to find a way to try to keep him in the pocket, and then because I do feel like he's more comfortable when he's out than when he's in. And if we can keep him in the pocket, I think that works to our benefit. But when he's out running around scrambling, a lot of bad things happen for the opponent when he's out running around.
They had 11 different people catch passes Saturday against Kearney. What's the challenges in trying to defend the whole field like that?
It's hard, because he runs so well that you got to leave guys in the box, and then when you leave guys in the box to stop him from scrambling around and making plays, and there you spread him out. Now he's going to run around all over you, but now you got guys in the box. So now he's got more space to throw to his receivers as well, and they do a good job of finding the openings, right away. But with us, we got to find a better way to just get hands on the receivers and disrupt the timing. And, hopefully that takes things away. If we can disrupt the timing and keep them in the pocket, I think we got a great chance to win this ball game. But if we can't keep them in the pocket and let them run around and scramble all over the place, it's going to be a long day for us. And so we got to find that happy medium, try to give him different looks, to try to keep him off balance as well. And, hopefully we can do that this week. But keep it simple. Right, we got to keep it simple for ourselves because they give you so much formationally, whether it's all wide receivers, whether it's a tight end, wide receivers in a back. They give you so much that there's a lot to prepare for, and they give you quads and they give you different looks in quads, right? And they'll give you 3x1s with different looks in 3x1s as well, with bunch sets and guys stacking in different places. So there's a lot that goes into trying to prepare for this offense and then trying to figure out what they're doing to you out of those situations as well. So we just got to be able to line up, get our hands on receivers, and hopefully disrupt timing and keep Ozizi in the pocket.
With homecoming this week, how do you handle that? Are there any added distractions that you have to be aware of?
The only distraction we should have is that we know the only thing that we have is the game day. That's it. That's all we should be worrying about this week. Let everybody else enjoy the festivities, but our job during homecoming is to win this football game, and that's our job. Now, my distractions are a lot different on homecoming week because there's a lot of different things that I have to do. So, but our players and our coaches, really need to stay locked in. I'll stay locked in. It's just I'll have a little bit longer hours this week than normal. But our job on homecoming is to make sure we win this game and try to stay away from those distractions. And, with Oktoberfest as well, being the same week, that's kind of hard with all the festivities going on downtown. But our guys need to stay away from that. If they're mature enough and this game's important enough to them and they love their teammates, they'll make the right choices, they'll make the right decisions to make sure that they take care of business this week.
With the outcomes of the games so far through the MIAA, seems like that there's still a lot for everybody to play for, but it seems like this year maybe more than any, it is as an open race and as an even race as maybe the last decade has seen.
It's a battle week in and week out. You're seeing every team every week. It's competition, and any team can win. At this point, the Kearney UCM game's a big one, and the Pitt and Emporia game was a big one. Northwest and Emporia was huge this week as well. UCO is the one that's kind of running away with it right now, but in this conference, it's just kind of how you match up with the team, and that's the crazy thing about it. Everybody's kind of different in their offenses and the things that they do, and then there's guys that are very similar in what they do offensively. So, yeah, it's an open race. We just got to take care of business and win these games and hope for the best. Because really sitting here, 9-2 is a really good season. 8-3 in this conference is a really good season. Even 7-4 is a good season in this conference. So hopefully we're in the 9-2 range and 8-3, and you never know what can happen from there. But it is a tight race right now.
With 2 conference losses, how important is it to get back on the track, not avoid that second straight loss, a third straight conference loss? Does that put any added pressure on the program?
We just got to go perform. There's always pressure every single week to win games, and that's why you play the game is to win the game, and I feel like we have the guys to do it. They just need to start doing the things we ask them to do and start playing. Sounds like a broken record right now, but we got to play more physical because I still don't think we played physical enough. I just don't think they play with my mentality, at all. But this game is important. We need to win this game, and it's important that we win this game. And we got to, of course. I like pressure, all right, and I think as a competitor, you should like pressure as well. Because life's full of pressures, left and right every single day, and it's how you handle those pressures that kind of determines who you are as a man. So hopefully our kids are up to the challenge this week, but we do need to win this game, and we need to battle and do everything that we possibly can to win this game.
When was the last time, in your estimation, you had a team play up to the level of physicality that you desire?
Probably 17 and 18 were probably the 2 years, and when we probably played the most physical football that we had. But both those years we won the conference. But we had some really Connor Shadid, Doin Jabou. You talk about Nate Shepard, and then, you know, got Wyatt Parker. I mean, we've had the Brock Longs of the era too. You know, we had guys like that just had that mentality to be physical and aggressive every single play. That's when we had our best football teams, and it's just kind of lost somewhere in the way, and I can't figure it out. And we got some really, really good kids. I mean, that's what we do have some really, really, really good kids that do everything right. We just got to teach them that, you know, when they get on the field, it's okay to be a little bit meaner, and a little bit tougher, and a little bit more physical. That here's your opportunity, you know, to be not who you are off the field, and just to get after it when you step onto the football field.
Have you seen times when these guys can do that?
I have. You know, there's always flashes in every single game where I think there is some physicality going on. At Angelo State, I thought we were fairly physical. Against Northeastern, there were some plays in that game that I thought we were physical as well. Northwest for a little bit, and then they hit us in the mouth. We kind of pulled back. But there have been, you know, times in games that I feel like, okay, we are the most physical team right now. I mean, it's there. We just need to put 4 quarters of it together.